Morning, Ben. Thanks for sending your slides through
Morning.
again.
How are you doing?
I'm good. And we're into spring proper. We've got some decent weather.
Spring has sprung. So we've got 3 cases this morning, all of which make you think really about what the parasites are doing. And I think they take their cue from spring and they start to get going. So it's worth having a think about, have we got the right strategies in place to preempt them? So the first one is quarantine, and we have to quarantine it demonstrates the importance of quarantine dosing. So we have to go back in time to October 2024, where there's an expanding flock and they bought in 200 hogs, but they got them from 3 different sources, right? They were going to go to the tup, so they wanted them to grow, so they put them on clean grazing. They left them there to get tupped, and then they housed them on January 2025, so this January just gone, and 5 days afterwards, to make sure that they would get them, they wormed them with a triclobendazole and a clear drench, so an ivermectin, and they thought that's the job, that's the parasite job sorted. Remember, when they first brought them in, there was no quarantine drench given. 2 months later, in March 2025, 45 of the hogs started to look poor, and they noticed that most of them were ones from the same source. So one of them died, and then the next one that died was sent in for post-mortem, and this is what it had on post-mortem. You can see it was scoured out, as you can see in that picture there, but also in the next slide, it had, as you can see on the left there, quite marked thickening of the abomasum. That picture on the left there is the abomasum, and it looked to me like worms. Now, you think, well, why would sheep that are inside be getting worms? So I thought, well, we better check. So I did a worm egg count, 3,500 trichostrongal eggs per gram. That was the worm count, and so the diagnosis was confirmed. So why should it be that lambs inside were getting worms? Well, it's very likely that in that particular group of 45 sheep, from that one of the 3 groups that comprise that group of 200, they very likely had resistant Telodorsagia circumcincta that was resistant to the wormer that they were given once they were housed. So the point is, all this could have been avoided if they'd been given a quarantine dose at housing. When any sheep arrive, that's tups, that's females, that's hogs, that's anything that comes onto the farm, needs to have a proper quarantine drench protocol that you can talk to your vets about. Isn't that right?
Absolutely. Yeah, that's a stark reminder that it's not just for the future, it's important now as well.
And we don't want to hand the advantage to the resistant worms. You know, we want to get rid of them on purpose rather than discover them by accident. That was case number 1. Case number 2, what I found surprising, this is a farm that hadn't really had Haemonchus before, and we've got quite a good handle on what's going on in this farm. They experienced some sudden deaths. This was in mid-March, just gone. Sudden deaths in some Texel and mule in lamb shearlings. Now, in the past, they had been wormed with levamisole in July, fair enough, and then later on with ivermectin in mid-October, and they spent the winter on an arable cattle farm, and these were in lamb. Then, to my slight surprise, one of them died, and this is what we found on post-mortem. On that picture on the left, you can see very dark, brown, bloody contents of the abomasum, and then a closer-up version of the abomasum. There were lots of what you call coffee grounds in the abomasum, which normally means that there have been Haemonchus worms eating away and causing blood clots in that abomasum. There was a high worm egg count, so they must have got going quite quickly, and it's very likely to be type 2 Haemonchus, as in these Haemonchus, the sheep had probably been infected after the dose with ivermectin in October, probably, and those worms had probably decided to overwinter in those abomasums, and in response to the increasing day length and other triggers, they'd probably all come out all in one go and killed a couple of those lambs. So they got in quickly, and I think it was Zolvix that they treated them with because they didn't want to take any chances, and the rest of them recovered very quickly. But I was surprised even in the north, that had happened so early in some hogs. But certainly with hogs, there will be nearly no resistance at all, I would think.
No immunity in the
no immunity,
sheep.
I should say. Yeah. No immunity, I should say. Yes.
Yeah, and Haemonchus isn't the resistant beastie in the UK that it is in other parts of the world. But when you've got sheep dying, you can't take any chances, can you?
And then the last thought is, again, to return to the thought that things are changing and spring has sprung. Isn't it nice to have some light evenings? But it's worth taking some time to think, to preempt the parasites when they're coming, and to think what might have overwintered and what can we do about that to prevent them.
Thank you very much, Ben. Excellent stuff as usual.
Good luck lambing and calving.
Thank you.